Gamers, we're back with more tier lists. Here we go. Once again, just to recontextualize, this is going to be the group content tier lists. This is all about open world stuff. It's going to be raids, strike missions, your fractals, all that kind of wondrous joy. It's going to be PvE, big gameplay. Right now, we're going to be doing healers. That is defensive supports. That is things that heal. They do the green numbers, they do the barrier numbers, and they apply boons, okay? No pure healers here, okay? We don't do that. We don't do that here. Like, we have to apply boons. Boons are mandatory. They are not optional. But anyway, we have had a couple of new builds popping up. Pretty exciting, actually, with the new weapon changes coming through, the rise of our Heal Berserker, and as well, maybe a brand new challenger for one of the top spots in the game, actually, with the rifle on Chronomancer. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, it's tier list gaming. We love this stuff. Let's rate the best builds in the game. And like I said, guys, I say this in all the tier lists, bear in mind that everything below S tier is unplayable. If you see someone who is not playing an S tier build, you should flame them and kick them from your group immediately. Oh, wait, no, I don't say that, okay? All the builds, they're pretty damn good, okay? We're here to entertain, and more importantly, we're here to find out what's absolutely broken so you can carry everyone insanely hard. So let's get down to business. Here we go. Yeah, shout out to Twitch chat here, helping me out here. Be sure to, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe leave a tree emoji as well. But anyway, let's get into it. And you know what? Let's get in there with the newcomer, actually. Heal Chrono has been built up for a while now with changes to the Chaos trait line. And to be honest, I wasn't that impressed with it with just the Chaos trait line. However, with a couple more iterations, a couple more updates, and the brand new rifle weapon, oh yeah, we actually have a brand new S tier build. This build is fantastic. The rifle really helps it out, actually, and rounds out its toolkit, giving it a little bit of range support, a really nice on-demand healing, and even a little bit of barrier and the utility boon resistance too. The portal is also pretty nifty. You're not going to get crazy use out of it, but there are certainly a couple of occasions where you'll have a really montage-worthy moment. This build is incredibly good. And what's more, actually, this is one of the builds that actually universally shines as well. We're going to be talking about Druid, which, no surprises, it's still going to be S tier, but Druid is, in some sense, not as globally amazing, right? Like, for example, in Fractals, Druid is not quite as good as it is in all of the other situations. Chrono, not the case, actually. Chronomancer is insane in every type of content. And I think that actually is worth noting here as something that you might be interested in if you're a player looking to pick up a build that will work absolutely everywhere and dominate that content. And even more, it can do quickness or alacrity, so you can adapt to any group. Like, if there was going to be one healer, if someone said to me, I want to play one healer for the entire game and really focus on that build, the answer is absolutely going to be Heal Chronomancer because of its innate flexibility, fantastic healing output, incredible utility. All of its utility skills are free. Bear that in mind, it's Mesmer, right? So all the boons is from traits in the Chaos trait line and also from the Grandmaster trait in Chronomancer. All of that is baked in, giving you fantastic flexibility across the board, and you can fit into any group you want. So that is why Chrono is absolutely giga S tier, to be honest, just across the board. Fantastic build. I'd highly recommend checking it out. And we'll do the next S tier one here as well. You know, let's not muck about. It's still Druid. Druid is the absolute king of throughput. It absolutely is. Still incredible healing. The boons are great. Mace is a wonderful addition to this build, actually, providing even more healing output. Amazing CC as well with that Mace 3. Just really cool, honestly. And the nature proc, Force of Nature proc, you can get use out of it, right? Like, it's a little bit finicky to get it to activate exactly when you want, but getting that extra healing output, even though it did get nerfed a little bit, it's still going to increase your numbers even higher. It is still one of the best builds in the game, without a shadow of a doubt, particularly if you're doing a solo heal situation. That is where Druid can really shine. Like, if you're looking to heal, for example, if you want to heal like an entire open world Zerg, Druid can kind of do that, to be honest. Like, if you want to be in a strike mission and you want to solo heal, or maybe you just, there's a lot of damage, people are, you know, maybe getting hit by a lot of stuff, right? People are taking damage here and there. That's where Druid is in there. And this is actually one of the things that Chronomancer does lack, actually, is revive power. Druid has that Glyph of Stars, which is just so unbelievably good. The revive speed on that is crazy. You slap it down and then boom, it's going to instantly res people more or less because of how many healing modifiers you have, and you can just slap it down. It's going to keep everyone up. Absolutely no problem. It really is an incredibly good build. And again, yeah, it has one of the things, very few weaknesses that Heal Chronomancer has, which is a little bit of lacking revive power, which... guess what's coming next? You know what you could combo maybe a Chronomancer with to potentially alleviate the lack of revive power? Yeah, it's Scourge. Up there in S tier, absolutely still an incredibly good build. It really, really is. Don't really care about the new weapon on this, of course, with Scourge. Like, you could use it for a bit of mobility if you wanted to on your heal Scourge, but it's more of a damaging weapon, less of a support weapon in general. And, you know, weapons on Scourge are not super important either way. You can use the pistol for a bit of CC, of course, from Harbinger with the Soto expansion. But yeah, this build is incredible. It heals a lot. It barriers a huge amount across the board. You can go up to 10 target barrier for brief periods of time by putting down your shades correctly and then bam, hitting the Sand Cascade or your Sandstorm Shroud. Boon access is a little patchy, but, and again, this is one of those things, like, Scourge is a really interesting build, Heal Scourge. If offensive support builds get nerfed, so if Herald got nerfed, for example, that would actually be a big nerf potentially to Scourge. It really would be, because it is a little bit reliant on other builds providing boons for it, more so than these other healers. These two healers here are extremely well-rounded. Like, they can solo boon, no problem. Absolutely no problem, easy peasy. Okay, Scourge a little bit less so, does need a bit of help from that support, but it really makes up for it. It has that unparalleled revival potential, Signet of Undeath, Transfusion into the Bloodwell, really good sustain, and actually it's also incredibly tanky as well. There's nothing quite like this build in terms of taking hits. You can just run through every AoE and you will be absolutely fine. Scourge, one of the top builds. If you play this build, you will carry people and it will feel good. Okay, so enjoy your heal Scourge. There it is. And I think that actually is probably going to be it for S tier. But I think it's going to be a really exciting time for A tier, actually, because wait, are there a lot of A tier, good A tier builds, actually? I think, maybe not. I might have spoken too soon. Because I think the next build that we're going to talk about is going to be Herald. And I think Herald actually stands alone in A tier. Yeah, I really do think it does, because it isn't quite on the level of S tier, and there have been some incredible improvements to this build. It now has stability access on the Ventari tablet. You detonate the tablet, that's going to give AoE stability. You have the new Specter weapon giving barrier on your auto attacks, and you can spam out the second skill there to give loads of barrier around to people, which is pretty nifty as well. Shield, of course, has Aegis on the Shield 4 ability, and you have a Pulsing Heal on the Shield 5 ability. That's all really, really good. The healing output on this build is fantastic. 600 range boons. That's really cool. Definitely a big strength that even surpasses the S tier builds is its boon application potential. Incredibly tanky. Like, probably the tankiest healer, even more so than Scourge. You have that Salvation trait line. You've got Shield. You've got the Glint Heal. Your self-sustain is incredibly good because you can basically take the trait that gives you barrier when you have boons, so you just have ridiculous self-healing in addition to your output to nearby allies. Your CC is fantastic as well. Where this build does struggle a little bit is that it's not as good at doing mechanics as these builds are ultimately. It's more of like, I heal me put green numbers. So if you're into that sort of thing, then Herald probably is the best thing to go for, to be honest. I still do think that the radius on the tablet's healing is a little bit too low. And I would also say it would be nice if the healing, the big heal from Natural Harmony, if that was actually a pulsing heal rather than a big chunky heal, because that would allow you to heal other subgroups more easily and also avoid overhealing people. Like, I think this build actually has a bit of a problem with overhealing quite a lot of the time, because a lot of its core healing is just massive giga heals. Whereas a lot of other builds have smaller heals, which means that you don't overheal as much and you overflow to the other subgroup a little bit better. Hell, this is something that is kind of interesting about Scourge. I really hope I'm right about this. I think I am. But Transfusion's kind of weird. It actually doesn't have subgroup priority, so Scourge can actually heal people in other subs quite nicely because it's basically based off proximity, is my understanding, actually. And that's actually really powerful, by the way. Being able to heal the other subgroup and help your other healer out is actually a really important part of why some of these builds are actually so powerful, is the ability to not be limited to just the 5 people that you're in a group with. In general, actually. But yeah, I really like this, to be honest. It's like Herald is definitely powerful. It's really, really good. And that's why I think it is going to be a little bit of a cut above, I think, a lot of the next healers that we're going to talk about realistically, just because it does have, it's pretty much the complete package now. It has stability. The stability is a bit wonky and you can't really fit Jalis in. That is a bit of a weakness. Like you are quite inflexible. I kind of got sidetracked talking about Transfusion, but it is a little bit of it is a bit brittle. It struggles to adapt because you're very locked in to the legends that you have. You can drop Ventari and just play with Glint and then say play Jalis, for example. That works on low pressure fights. You have to sacrifice some healing for that, obviously, but you can mostly rely on your weapon skills. Like Staff and Shield are very potent for healing. And of course you have regeneration. Whenever you use an ability, you get some little AoE healing as well anyway. So it is workable to do that. But these things don't make sacrifices like that to provide that utility that Herald kind of has to have a little bit of a trade-off. The permanent projectile block is kind of fun though, actually. So there absolutely is that. Moving on now to B tier. And I don't really want to call this... do I want to call this B tier? You know, maybe we should just be brutal. I feel like I always come up with kind of copium, fancy tier names. But you know what? Seeing as at the intro, I said that if you see people not playing S tier, you should block them and kick them from your group. Okay? Maybe we're just gonna have a brutal list. We're just gonna crush everyone's hopes and dreams. So let's do that. B is bad. Bad tier. Ooh, let's see. So, I kind of want to throw some things on the board and see how it looks on this, because it does get a bit muddy. So, let's see. I'm going to move some stuff around here at the bottom. Let's actually see what we've got. So, we've got to do Firebrand, Berserker. I'm not even really going to consider Heal Bladesworn, I'm not going to lie. No, it's not a thing. Catalyst, obviously. We have Specter, Tempest, Untamed. There's a lot of healers these, isn't it? Mech, of course, is in here as well. And Scrapper. And also Renegade, actually. Yeah, this build is... I mean, people are going to cope about that build. And Willbender as well. I think that's all of them, right? Yeah, that's basically all of the healers that we have lined up here, I think, more or less. There are some lunatics who play Heal Mirage, but I don't think we're even going to talk about that today because, honestly, like, I would feel bad about giving anyone inspiration to play Heal Mirage in pug groups, okay? That would just be cruel, to be honest. Okay. No, we're not talking about Heal Harbinger. That's a meme build, okay? That's like, you know, you do a YouTube video. That's like, you know those crazy Hearthstone deck videos, okay, that people cook up? That's Heal Harbinger. We're not doing that. So, where does this go? You know what? You know what's actually crazy? These are actually quite close. I definitely think that the stronger ones, it's going to be your Heal Mech and Heal Firebrand. Firebrand is a bit scuffed, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Ooh, it is a little bit scuffed. So those are the better... I feel like these three kind of hang out together a little bit. Just a little bit. Heal Scrapper I do not like this build. Even though it has been improved significantly, its boon output is better, the protection is better. Short bow is a welcome addition to Scrapper as well, actually. I still don't think it's good, to be honest with you. Overall, it's not great. So I think I'd probably put those three together there. And, oh, where would I put the other stuff? Like, the Willbender thing is so interesting, because I don't think I can put anything in, I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to change it to S+, S, A, B, and C, because I don't think I can put any of these builds in C, except for, like, Heal Bladesworn. Let's get this out the way. This build is, no, okay? Like, this is not really a thing. It doesn't really exist. So that's the only thing that I feel like I can put below a B tier, because everything else is genuinely pretty damn solid. It's really, really getting there, to be honest. Like, ArenaNet has been doing a good job of enabling these builds and making them happen. So let's kind of... Oh, yeah, we got to put Specter in here as well. You know, Specter is really weird. This build, it's a little bit cursed, but it's also not that bad. To be honest, it's really not that bad. I wouldn't put it in no tier. It might end up around here, but let's kind of talk through Mech, Firebrand, and Tempest and see if I'm happy with that placement. So, the big thing about these builds is they didn't get power crept. Like that's kind of it, right? It's like, this stuff got giga power creep, and this stuff really did. You know, it just stayed the same, right? Like, Mech has more or less been left unchanged since its release. It had a couple of nerfs here and there because it was pretty busted on release. But it's just not as good as this stuff, because this stuff is way better. Like, its stability application is very mediocre compared to all of this stuff. Aegis is very mediocre. Healing output is definitely on the weaker side for healers, actually. Overall, doesn't really have a lot of ranged healing potential. Barrier doesn't even really hold up anymore, even though that was one of the things it could do pretty damn well. 2, does have good mobility, can kind of be in 2 places at once. Boon application is robust, but it's not insane, right? It's really not as good as this stuff. It's a similar story for Firebrand. Firebrand used to be special. You know, it used to be, wow, very exciting. It really did. But these days, giving stability in Aegis, yeah, everyone can do that now. That's not good enough. It does have some really good burst healing, but again, so does this, right? It's not like other classes don't have insane burst healing as well. Its boon application is finicky as well, with the quickness being a cone, which is a little bit awkward. They did give Firebrand super speed, and that's kind of cool, actually. That is fun. On Feel My Wrath, and I do like that. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the offensive support tier list, actually. Whoops. But that's actually really nice to have, for sure. You love to see it, you really do. But is that really enough? No. No, it's not. You have been out-power crept, Firebrand. You lose. And it's a very similar story with Tempest. It really is. Tempest, it just hasn't had the changes it needs. It's a very weird support, because you're kind of locked into a rotation a little bit, and that makes healing reactively awkward. You get very hard punished for camping water a lot of the time. You have to continuously rotate, which can be annoying. Its utility, to be frank, is mediocre compared to a lot of things. A lot of the shouts. If they had 2 charges in PvE, some of them do in PvP, for example, that could change things. If the boon application radius was bigger on the not the alacrity, but mostly like the might and protection on your overloads, if that was bigger, if maybe you could take aura heal and you could also take the alacrity trait simultaneously, that could improve things as well. But to be frank, it's just, it used to heal really well, especially when it was 10 targets, but it's a bit design limited here. There was a time where pressing a button to apply an aura to your subgroup and heal them for 2,000, that was actually a really good skill. Right, seriously. Like, that was a good ability. That's not a good ability anymore. And bear in mind, you don't even do the healing anymore. You just apply the boons, right? Like, because you don't have the aura heal trait. So, not only has Tempest not been powered up to the level of the other stuff that exists, it's actually arguably got worse. right? Because it's, oh, I apply an aura and I do a heal. Yeah, that doesn't even happen anymore, right? For a skill. And that's kind of not good enough, to be honest, in the current state of the game. And obviously it didn't really benefit from the new weapon because it's pistol, right? And you don't really care about that. And you don't really care about the other weapons either. Like, you know, you're still enjoying yourself on your dagger warhorn, just going crazy. But yeah, this is a build that definitely needs some work. I almost feel... saying it, I feel like now that I'm being quite critical of it, saying that it's an A tier, because at the end of the day, it definitely gets the job done, and it's a build that I personally enjoy. Actually, I do play it occasionally. It is a fun to play build, actually, and it's playable. You can definitely heal really well on this, for sure, but yeah, it really is one of the builds that I think does genuinely need some work, to be honest. It really, really does. It really, really does need some work. Would I put anything else in contention with these? I kind of wouldn't, to be honest. I do not like Heal Scrapper. I really don't like Catalyst either, to be honest. I feel like Specter might actually be on the same level as this stuff. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm coping because I quite like Specter. Specter is the thief spec that I like the most, to be honest. And I am a little bit coped out on Heal Specter, but I think I'm going to resist the urge. Like, the single target stuff, it works really well in PvP, actually, but in PvE, honestly, not really. Your output is actually surprisingly good, and it does have incredibly good CC as well, but I think its boon application, it doesn't have the diversity that the others have. You do have stability, of course. When you're in Shroud, you can share your stability, which is actually really nice, and it's a good chunk. It's like 3 stacks as well, so that is solid, but it's very unwieldy compared to literally every other support when it comes to that boon application. And again, it is a bit of a gimmicky build overall, so I don't think I can, in good conscience, put it in A tier with the rest of that stuff. It's a build I like, though, actually. I would like to see it be improved. I would. I 100% would. It's a build that I think is cool. I like it. So hopefully ArenaNet gives it a little bit of love, in my opinion. Seal Scrapper, I view this as basically a worse version of Mech, to be honest. It gives quickness, and that's something I haven't mentioned this time. I will mention this again briefly. In general, builds that can healer builds that give alacrity are advantaged in the meta because of how good quickness Herald is. So that's something that you've always got to consider. Builds like Tempest, Herald, Scrapper, and Berserker, they inherently suffer because of the meta being very favored towards offensive supports applying quickness. There are some exceptions. There are some exceptions, by the way, where the inverse of that is true. But in general, it is really good to be an alac healer because of how powerful Herald is in this situation, for the power quickness Herald in particular. Oh, did I say Tempest instead of Firebrand? I'm noob, okay? Look, honestly, I can't tell the difference, right? Guardians and Ellies, it's all the same to me. I mean, look, you know, at Tempest, water is blue, Guardian is blue. Same shit. But anyway, and that's something to always consider here, and that's why Scrapper is just worse mech, honestly. Worse application. The res stuff is cool. I do like it. I like the strides they're taking with the gyro to make the function gyro a really powerful dynamic tool. It's a bit overloaded in my opinion. You like load it up with a million different effects. Like it's resing, it's applying barrier, it's applying stability, right? It's doing a whole bunch of stuff. But it's fun. I like it. But it's just a worse version of mech, to be honest. Right now, I'm not impressed by it whatsoever. And speaking of builds that I'm not impressed by, Heal Catalyst. This build is, this is not good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not good. You have putrid energy management. You don't really give good boons either. You don't really have anything special. Your utility skills are basically worthless. Your healing doesn't even exist outside of water either. Like, this is just... No, this is almost no tier, to be honest. Like, this build is just, it doesn't exist. Like, it's not good. it is not good. Like it might deserve to be here. It is not good. I think I'm gonna put it there just so ArenaNet fix it, because as we all know, the balance team have no idea what they're talking about. Okay, like CMC Trig, Roy, who's not even on the balance team, he died to the goddamn Guardian NPC. Guys, seriously. The Guild Wars 2 team dies to the Guardian NPC 1v1. The only hope they have a balance in the game is obviously by watching my tier lists and balancing the game accordingly. So you're welcome, okay? You're welcome, chat. That is a joke, by the way, for anyone who doesn't understand humor. But yeah, that is a joke. Yeah, Catalyst going in no tier. Get the hell out of here. It's gone. Next. Ooh, we're kind of getting to the end now. And you know what? Let's get this done, actually. Heal Berserker. I think it actually deserves a very respectable spot in B tier. I really do. Warrior Staff has actually done it. I think people have wanted a heal-style warrior for a long time now, actually, in PvE. It's kind of been a thing in PvP and World vs. World for a while. The shout healing has been enough, like along with the boon removal utility and just mobility and skirmishing power of Spellbreaker has been very powerful and competitive. But in PvE, it's here. It actually exists. Is it fully whole yet? No. I think banners still need work. To be honest, I think there's some pretty brutal trait competition. It's very difficult to take. You know, like, stability and shout heal at the same time is awkward as hell on this build. Banners are very awkward to use at the same time. So I'd say it's a lower end of B tier, to be honest, overall. But the healing is genuinely not actually that bad. It does apply boons. It applies quickness. It applies fury. You can do might. It's kind of getting there. It's a couple of updates, you know, before it exists. It can do Aegis, right? You know, it's kind of a cool build, to be honest. I like it. Heal Berserker, let's go. Maybe I'm coped out here. I'm not, though. I'm not coped out. This is actually full-fledged existing build. You love to see it. I'm excited about it. It feels good. It feels good, chat. There it is. Heal Berserker has arrived. You could play this, and you're not trolling. Okay. I actually think that Untamed is... I think that Untamed is actually in a similar position to that. It has been improved. It has surprisingly good boon access now, actually, to be honest. Heal Untamed. And you can do the thing. You can provide value to your team. This is one of the more tenuous builds, I would say. And yeah, now that, yeah, Specter, Scrapper, Berserker, Untamed, yep, that looks about right, to be honest. It's, you know, it's something. I'd say it's still a fairly tenuous build, but it's really getting up there. You know, it's been continuously improved. Like, now it has that might access, and you can do pretty much everything. I think the only thing it can't really do is stability, right? Like, that's where it really lacks. That's pretty bad, by the way. Like, stability is, at this point in the meta, kind of mandatory for a healer to be able to do. Like, you kind of have to do that if you want to be a healer. So, bit of a gaping hole in the, you know, in the repertoire of this particular build. But, you know, it's very solidly locked in there as something that you could absolutely play. One of the more uncommon builds, I think. So, people are going to be surprised when you kind of, you know, slap it out there as well, but it's there. And you even have, like, you have some other weapons too, right? You can get Mason now as well, because previously you only had Staff. That was, like, the only way you could really heal, the only way you could really apply boons. But now you can probably get the Mason there with a Warhorn as well, and not just be completely locked out, right? When you weapon swap, like, so you had to go, like, Staff. All that kind of stuff. And I think there was some quality of life improvements as well. Like, now you always get a trigger on the quickness, like the when you do the weapon swap too, right? So, like, you always get activations on your ambush skills using the Grandmaster trait, which is actually pretty nice. That's very cool stuff, I think, actually, with that. So, yeah. I think I'm struggling to see this. This build would need a lot of work, in my opinion, to fully upgrade. But I mean, who knows? Dare to dream. Dare to dream, chat. I mean, Untamed is a little bit scuffed. I still think it would probably need a pretty major trait to exist in the Untamed line that would enhance the Unleashed abilities somehow. Maybe make them more supportive, give them some boon access. That would be some potential, or maybe make the Untamed utility skills do something. Because again, a lot of builds struggle with this, with having like pretty lame utility skills in general with healers. Elementalist is a big culprit of this. Overall, like utility skills not performing particularly well. But yeah. Not ideal. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention this on Scrapper, right? They made the barrier application. Bulwark Gyro is now AoE barrier. Pretty cool, actually. But yeah, that's just like something I just randomly remembered. Let's go. But yeah, Untamed, that's where it sits. Renegade and Willbender. You know, ooh. B tier. Yup. That's where they belong. Willbender... Oh, man. Willbender is the one I'm the most undecided about, because this is one of those builds that people always hype up, and then I see gameplay, and I go, this isn't good. I just look at it, and I go, in what universe is this a strong build? I'm so unimpressed by Heal Willbender, to be honest. About the boon application is scuffed. The healing is like, well, I mean, whatever. I guess it's okay. I guess, like, you know, when you think like, what is better than Heal Willbender? Like, why is Heal Willbender good? And you go like, oh, is it just Guardian utility skills? And you go, oh yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of is. And like core abilities, core traits. You know, like, oh yeah, okay, I guess that's what it is. Like, I guess you can do a Lackery at 600 radius. That's nice. Okay, that, you know, that's very comfy. You know, we like that. But yeah, you got force movement. Your boons kind of suck, to be honest. It's kind of it's on the lower end of B tier in my opinion. It's not high tier. Daily reminder that the tiers are not necessarily ordered unless I explicitly say. I do that to confuse people and annoy people on purpose. We should just randomize them. So when people skip through the chapters of the video, the tiers should randomly reorder. We can't fix that in post, but if I could, I would. But anyway, there you go. Is it a build you can play? Yes. Does it really offer anything particularly special or impressive? Absolutely not. That is the situation with Heal Willbender. And now, Renegade. I mean, it's kind of a similar situation, I feel like, with Mech and Scrapper. It's just scuffed Herald, realistically. It really is. It's scuffed Herald. The boon application's not as good. The healing is way more awkward than Herald is. I think the rework was actually kind of nifty for this. I think it works out in the favor of Renegade in general. I think you get some barrier application, which is kind of nice actually on the heal skill, which is pretty cool. When you combo it, which is nice for sure. But I don't think this is really a build. I don't think they were even really targeting Heal Renegade being a thing. I don't think it's really on their radar. Like, is it a build that exists? Yes. Is it a build that I think is something that is on ArenaNet's radar? Absolutely not. So, there you have it. Okay, there you go. Enjoy. I think that's going to be it, actually. For the healer tier list. Yep. And look how many healers we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, okay. Let's say 13. Because these ones kind of, you know, not really a thing. But you get the idea. That's the healer tier list. Enjoy. Observe. Take a look at it, my friends. Drink deep. Breathe it in. Soak it in. And go forth and spread the word. And be sure to tell everyone how amazing your build is and how much their build sucks. That is my purpose here. But anyway, that is going to be it. Okay, fine. Like, Heal Mirage, fine. No. Right, there you go. Are you happy now? You good? Yeah, we're on board? Yeah. All right, there it is. We're happy. Okay. And, yeah, Harbinger. There you go. Enjoy. That's going to be it for this particular setup. I guess technically Heal Deadeye as well. All right, yeah. That's enough. That is going to be it, gamers. Hope you enjoyed this tier list. Be sure to watch the other tier list for damage and offensive supports so you truly understand the metagame of Guild Wars 2. That's what we're all here for. That's the knowledge we want. Be sure to watch the other stuff. Be sure to subscribe. Watch him live on Twitch. Watch him live on YouTube. Hand over all your money, of course. Join the channel. Okay, go on the Patreon. You know, all that kind of good stuff. That's what you're here for. Okay? Yeah. Haha. But anyway, that's going to do it. I'll see you next time. I'm out of here, gamers. Job done. Like the video.